The alien beauty who swore to stay pure, but couldn't resist me, crimson skies and dangerous. Meetings. The transport shuttle descended through Virelia's amber clouds, revealing a world of crystalline forests and rust-colored earth that glowed beneath twin suns. Kale Orion adjusted his diplomatic uniform, watching the alien landscape with fascination. Ready to make history? Commander Hayes asked from the pilot's seat. Ready to not start a war, Kale replied. These peace negotiations are our only chance. The landing platform materialized below polished stone surrounded by elegant structures. Kale's breath caught at the sight of the Virelian delegation. They were stunning, with luminescent skin that shimmered like moonlight and large eyes that reflected patterns of light. But one figure commanded his attention immediately. She stood at the center, perfectly still in pure white robes marked with golden symbols. Her skin held a pearlescent quality, and her hair flowed like liquid silver. Everything about her radiated serene authority and breathtaking beauty. The shuttle doors opened. Kale descended the ramp, and the Virelian delegation bowed in unison. "Welcome to Virelia," the woman in white said, her voice melodic yet cold. "I am Serenia Luthen, High Guardian of the Temple of Eternal Light. We receive you in peace." "I'm Kale Orion, Chief Diplomatic Envoy," he responded, meeting her violet eyes. "We're grateful for this opportunity." "Understanding requires trust, Envoy Orion," she said coolly. "Not just words." Before Kale could respond, he felt a disturbance in the air. His training took over. Down. He lunged forward as plasma fire screamed through the air. Kale's momentum carried them both to the ground, his body covering Serenia's as debris rained down. Chaos erupted. Guards drawing weapons returned fire toward the crystalline forest, shouted commands in multiple languages. Beneath him, Serenia's body was rigid with shock. For a suspended moment, they were frozen, her warmth against him, her eyes wide and vulnerable. "Are you hurt?" he asked. She blinked. Vulnerability replaced by composure. "Remove yourself, human." Kale rolled away, helping her stand as guards surrounded them. Within minutes, the attackers had fled into the forest. Security forces in pursuit. Serenia straightened her robes with shaking hands. "An unfortunate welcome. This is unprecedented." "Someone doesn't want peace," Kale said, scanning the tree line. "Who benefits from continued conflict?" "Many." She turned to leave but paused, glancing back. "You shielded me." "Without hesitation. Where I come from, we protect people, especially those dedicated to peace." Something shifted in her gaze, a crack in her icy facade. "Perhaps there is more to humans than I believed. Come, we must investigate this attack. Envoy Orion, our enemies won't wait." As she walked away, white robes billowing, Kale found himself watching the graceful way she moved. He'd come to prevent a war. He hadn't expected to be so dangerously intrigued by someone sworn to remain forever apart. The crimson suns descended toward the horizon, painting everything in shades of blood and fire. And between a human diplomat and an alien guardian, something had sparked to life that neither fully understood. Forbidden's feelings. The temple archives were vast chambers of living crystal, filled with floating holographic texts that drifted like luminescent butterflies. Kale had been working alongside Serenia for 3 days, investigating the assassination attempt. 3 days of careful politeness and growing tension. "This symbol matches the weapon's energy signature," Serenia said, projecting an image between them. "The scourge of unity extremists who believe isolation preserves our culture." Kale leaned closer to study it, bringing him near enough to catch her scent. Night blooming flowers and ozone after rain. Earth has similar groups. "Fear makes people destructive." "Fear," Serenia repeated softly. She dismissed the projection, and suddenly the darkness between them felt intimate. Is that what drives me, Envoy Orion? The question surprised him. I think you call me Envoy Orion instead of Kale because distance feels safer. Her eyes found his in the dim light. You presume to understand me after 3 days? No, Kale admitted. But I'd like to. If you'd let me. Serenia turned away. My vows forbid such familiarity. I chose, long ago, to dedicate myself to service. To purity. When did you take these vows? 53 cycles ago. When I reached maturity. Kale did the math. She'd been young, barely more than a child. That's a long time to deny yourself connection. Happiness is not the purpose of existence, she said sharply. Service is. Tell me about Earth, she suddenly blurted, the words escaping against her will. What is it truly like? Kale smiled, moving to stand beside her at the window overlooking the crystalline forest bathed in moonlight. Earth has vast oceans that seem endless. Forests with trees that change color before their leaves fall, the whole world painted gold in fire. Water freezes in winter and falls as snow. Children play in it, and spring brings everything back to life. Serenia had closed her eyes, a small smile on her lips, the first real smile he'd seen. It sounds alive, chaotic, beautiful, she whispered. It is. Kale turned to face her. And people fall in love. They take risks. They break their own rules because something matters more. Don't. Her hand came up between them, not quite touching. Please don't. Don't what? Tell you that you've become the most fascinating person I've ever met? That watching you discover things in these archives is like watching stars being born? Stop. Serenia stepped back, composure cracking. You don't understand. My vows aren't just tradition, they're sacred bonds. To break them would dishonor my entire order. High Elder Vera raised me. I cannot. I'm not asking you to break anything. I'm just being honest. They stood in darkness, tension thick between them. Outside, moonlight dimmed as clouds passed. In all my years, Serenia said finally, voice trembling, no one has spoken to me as you do. Guardians are revered but kept apart. We're symbols more than people. I'd forgotten what it felt like to be seen as simply Serenia. That's all I see. And she's extraordinary. She looked at him with such naked longing it stole his breath. For a heartbeat, he thought she might close the distance. Her lips parted, her body swayed forward. Then she turned abruptly. It's late. We should rest. Serenia. Please, Kale. Her back was to him, but he heard tears in her voice. This is already harder than you know. As he walked toward the exit, her voice stopped him. Kale, thank you for making me laugh, for telling me about your world. I haven't felt this alive in decades. And that terrifies me. Feeling alive isn't something to fear. For someone like me, it is. Because once you remember what living feels like, duty starts to feel like a cage. She turned to face him, moonlight painting her in silver. After only 3 days, I'm questioning everything. What happens after 3 more? Where does this end? Maybe it doesn't have to end. Maybe it becomes something new. A single glowing tear traced down her cheek. Go. Before I do something we'll both regret. Or something I'll never regret, which is worse. Later, alone in her quarters, Serenia knelt before her altar and tried to meditate. But all she could see was Kale's face, hear his voice, feel the ghost of his warmth. For the first time in 50 years, she prayed for strength not to maintain her vows, but to resist breaking them. And she wasn't certain which outcome she truly wanted. Starlight and surrender. Their investigation led them to the Temple of Falling Stars, abandoned for 3 centuries after a tragedy killed dozens of guardians. The structure perched impossibly on a stone bridge over a deep canyon, its crystal towers spiraling toward the sky. The extremists are using it as a base, Serenia explained as their shuttle descended. It's remote and most Varelians won't approach it. They say it's haunted. Inside, the temple was breathtaking but melancholy vast halls with crystalline pillars etched with ancient prayers. Serenia's hand glowed with light, illuminating their path. "Stay close," she warned. The structure may be. The floor gave way beneath them. They plunged through darkness. Kale twisted mid-fall, pulling Serenia against him, taking the impact as they hit a slope and slid until they crashed onto a lower level. For a moment, neither moved, stunned and breathless. Serenia pushed up on her arms. Putting her face inches from Kale's, her body pressed along his length. "Are you hurt?" she asked. "I've had worse, you?" "Fine, you shielded me again." Her eyes searched his face. "Why?" "Because the words died. Because I'm falling for you. Because the thought of you hurt is unbearable. Above, stone groaned and debris began falling. "There!" Kale spotted a doorway. "Move!" They ran, diving through the opening as the ceiling collapsed behind them. When the dust cleared, Serenia's light revealed an inner sanctum. Smooth crystal walls shot through with luminescent veins. But most extraordinary was what floated throughout the space. Thousands of glowing orbs drifting like jellyfish in a dark ocean. "The tears of stars," Serenia whispered in awe. Concentrated spiritual energy from generations of guardians. They're supposed to grant clarity. Kale touched one. Warmth flooded through him, bringing profound peace and absolute clarity about what he felt for Serenia. Serenia walked deeper into the chamber, tears streaming down her luminescent cheeks. "I performed my vow ceremony in a room like this. I was so young, so certain. The High Elder said dedication required sacrifice, that personal desire distracted from higher purpose." She turned to face him. "I believed her. For 53 years. And now?" Kale moved toward her slowly. "Now I'm tired of being a symbol. Tired of isolation called virtue. Tired of denying that I want." She stopped, pressing a hand to her mouth. "What do you want, Serenia?" She looked up at him, longing naked in her eyes. "I want to be selfish. Just once. I want to know what it feels like to choose for myself instead of for duty." Her breath hitched. Glowing tears fell faster. "I want you to kiss me," she whispered. "Even though I shouldn't. Even though it betrays everything. I want to know what it feels like to be wanted not as a guardian, but just as me." Kale's hand came up slowly, brushing away a luminous tear. "You're sure?" "No, I'm terrified. But I'm certain that if I don't do this, I'll spend my life wondering. And that feels worse than any punishment." He cupped her face. "This is your choice. Whether you kiss me or walk away, you're still extraordinary to me. You mean that. Every word." Serenia closed her eyes, one last tear escaping. Then she rose on her toes and pressed her lips to his dot. The kiss was gentle at first, tentative, someone discovering something new. Then Kale responded, one hand sliding into her gossamer hair, the other pulling her closer. Serenia made a sound that was half sigh, half sob as she melted against him. Around them, the tears of stars glowed brighter, responding to their emotion. Serenia's hands fisted in his uniform, pulling him closer, and the kiss deepened, no longer tentative but urgent, desperate. When they finally broke apart, breathless, Serenia pressed her forehead against his chest. "I broke my vow. 53 years, and I broke it for you." Kale held her tightly. "We'll figure it out. Whatever happens, together." She pulled back to look at him, eyes bright. "The consequences, I don't care. I care about you." Serenia laughed tremulously. "You're either very brave or very foolish. Probably both." Then seriously, "But I know what I feel. No one has ever affected me the way you do." She kissed him again, softer, savoring it. "Then we should complete our mission." Find evidence. Prevent the war. Because if I'm facing judgment for breaking my vows, I want it to be worth it. I want us to have a future to fight for." As they moved toward stairs leading deeper into the temple, Kale caught her hand, raising it to his lips. "Thank you for choosing. For trusting me." Serenia smiled, radiant and transforming. "Thank you for making me remember I'm allowed to choose." They descended into darkness together, fingers intertwined, two people bound by a kiss that defied duty. Above, the tiers of stars danced, bearing witness to their small revolution. Neither knew their kiss had been observed. Neither realized consequences would come far sooner than expected, but in that moment they didn't care. Asterisk. The edge of war. The evidence in the temple's depths was damning: communication logs, weapon caches, plans designed to frame humanity and trigger war. They worked through the night documenting everything. Though their hands found excuses to touch, their eyes to meet. By dawn, Serenia's communicator chimed urgently. "Hi, Elder Vera," she said, face paling. "The extremists attacked the capital. 3 council members dead. Both sides are calling for retaliation." Her hands trembled. "We're out of time." Kale contacted Hayes. Earth forces were mobilizing. War was hours away. "The extremists knew we'd come here," Kale said grimly. "This was a distraction. We don't return to the capital. We go directly to their leadership and end this. That's suicide. We have the truth. And I have authority as a High Guardian. They'll hear me." Their tracking led them to a hidden compound in the crystalline forests. Serenia transmitted her Guardian codes, demanding audience. They were granted entry. The extremist leader, Theron Kess, received them in a weapons-lined chamber, his scarred face contemptuous. "High Guardian Serenia, you bring your human pet. How fitting. Your attacks killed innocents," Serenia said calmly. "You've manipulated both peoples toward war. Why? Because it's necessary. The humans will destroy us not with weapons, but with their chaos, their corruption." His eyes fixed on Kale with hatred. "Already they corrupt our guardians. You've forsaken your vows, haven't you? I can see it." Kale stepped forward. "Your war won't preserve your culture, it'll destroy it. We have evidence. Stop now. There is no coexistence. Only domination or extinction." Theron raised his hand. Dozens of armed extremists emerged from concealment. "Your bodies will be found together, evidence of human treachery and Guardian betrayal." The perfect spark. But Theron underestimated Serenia. In a blur of motion, she struck energy crackling from her hands, her Guardian training transforming her into something deadly. Kale moved with her in perfect synchronization, their brief partnership creating intuitive understanding. They fought back to back, protecting each other, moving as one. But numbers began overwhelming them. Then the wall exploded inward. "Commander." Hayes burst through with human soldiers and Varelian security, an unprecedented joint operation. Behind them came High Elder Vera herself, ancient face stern. "Stand down." Vera's voice carried absolute authority. "Theron Kess, you are charged with terrorism against both peoples." The extremists, faced with overwhelming force, surrendered. The compound was secured within minutes, but Vera's eyes fixed on Serenia with recognition and disappointment. "We will speak, privately." Hours later, the debriefing ended. They'd prevented war and were hailed as heroes. But when Serenia emerged from her private meeting with Vera, her eyes were red. "She knows," Serenia said simply. "About us. I present myself before the Council of Guardians in 3 days. What will happen? Exile, imprisonment, or worse? No, I won't let them. It was my choice," Serenia interrupted gently, "and I don't regret it." Hayes quietly offered them use of a remote mountain sanctuary privacy before the judgment. No one would disturb them there. Kale looked at Serenia. Come with me. Whatever time we have, let's not waste it. She nodded. The sanctuary was simply a dwelling carved into mountainside, windows overlooking a valley of bioluminescent flowers glowing in darkness. Inside, a fire crackled. They stood facing each other in firelight. I would do it all again, Serenia said softly. You've shown me what it means to truly live. Kale took her hands. Then come with me to Earth. Start over. You don't have to face their judgment. Run? That's not who I am. I broke my vows with open eyes. I'll face consequences with the same courage, even if it means never seeing each other again. Her composure cracked. Even then, because you've given me something precious, you've shown me I'm capable of love, that I'm more than a symbol, that I'm enough. Kale pulled her into his arms. You're more than enough. You're everything. Serenia pulled back, searching his face as if memorizing it. Make love to me. Not as guardian and diplomat, just as Serenia and Kale. Let me know what it feels like to be wholly chosen before I return to duty one final time. Kale's answer was to kiss her deeply. His hands slid into her hair, tilting her head back as he traced kisses along her jaw, down her throat. Serenia gasped, fingers clutching his shoulders. Then, fumbling with his uniform fastenings, they undressed each other slowly, reverently. In firelight, Serenia's luminescence intensified, her skin glowing as if carved from moonlight. Kale traced patterns of light with his fingers, his lips learning her body, the curve of her waist, the hollow of her throat, places that made her gasp. You're beautiful, he murmured. Serenia's hands explored him with equal wonder. I never imagined this could feel so ... Perfect, Kale finished. Laying her gently before the fire, he moved over her, looking down at her face flushed with desire, vulnerable with trust. Are you sure? Serenia pulled him down, kissing him with passion that erased doubt. Their bodies came together slowly, gently at first, then with increasing urgency as decades of denial found release and connection. They moved together in firelight, learning each other's rhythms, discovering pleasure. Serenia's luminescence pulsed brighter with each wave of sensation until the room filled with living light. Afterward, they lay tangled together, watching the fire burn low. Serenia's head rested on Kale's chest. I love you, Kale said quietly. I know it's too soon, too complicated, but I need you to know. She lifted her head, eyes bright. And I love you, Kale Orion, my first love. Perhaps my only. She kissed him softly. Thank you for being patient, for seeing me, for making me brave enough to choose. They made love again as twin moons rose, slower this time, savoring every touch, every whispered word. Later, wrapped in each other's arms, neither noticed the figure watching from shadows outside witness to their devotion and defiance. Love over duty shortened. The Council of Guardians convened in the Hall of Eternal Light, walls woven from captured starlight. Hundreds assembled to witness judgment. Serenia stood in the center wearing simple gray, chin raised, eyes clear. In the gallery, Kale sat beside Hayes, helpless. High Elder Vera rose, pain visible in her ancient eyes. Serenia Luthen, you are charged with breaking your sacred vow of purity, with choosing personal desire over duty. How do you answer? Guilty, Serenia said clearly. I broke my vow knowingly and willingly. Shock rippled through the assembly. Guardians shouted for exile. You show no remorse? Vera asked. I show remorse for disappointing you, High Elder. You raised me, loved me. But remorse for my choice? No. The chamber erupted in outrage. You understand the penalty? Vera continued. Exile. your name removed from records. You'll be as one dead to us. I understand and accept it, but I ask permission to speak." Vera nodded, surprised. Serenia turned, addressing all guardians. "When I took vows as a child, I was taught sacrifice was the highest virtue. I believed this for 53 years. But then I met Kale Orion. He showed me that service without joy is merely suffering. That the highest virtue isn't sacrifice, it's connection." Her voice grew stronger. "Look at what we've become. So dedicated to purity, we've isolated ourselves from those we serve. We're symbols instead of people. How can we guide hearts we've never allowed ourselves to feel with?" She faced Vera directly. "You taught me wisdom comes from experience, but also to deny any experience beyond meditation. How can both be true?" Silence fell. "I broke my vow, but I found something more valuable: connection between worlds. Kale and I prevented war through trust born of genuine feeling. We built a bridge through showing that despite differences, we can love. Isn't that greater service than any I could have performed in isolation?" A young guardian suddenly stood. "Hi, Elder. I am Guardian Lissa. I took vows 20 years ago, and every day I've questioned them. Serenia's words make me wonder if I've just been afraid to admit that loneliness isn't the same as dedication." Another guardian stood, then another. Soon dozens were standing, all with stories of doubt, questioning a tradition demanding they deny their hearts. Kale watched in amazement as decades of silence shattered. Serenia had broken more than her vow. Vera looked around, seeing her order divided. "You have broken more than your vow, Serenia. You have broken the certainty defining us for centuries." She stood. "By our laws, you are guilty. The penalty is exile, but you won't be forgotten. Your name remains not as a guardian, but as a catalyst who forced us to question our traditions." Vera descended and embraced Serenia, whispering words only they could hear. "The council reconvenes in 1 month to discuss reforms," Vera announced. "Until then, reflect on what it truly means to serve." As guardians filed out, many thanked Serenia for voicing what they'd never dared. Kale pushed through the crowd. Serenia smiled through tears. "I'm free. Exiled, dishonored, stripped of everything. And I'm free. What will you do now?" "I choose you. I choose us. I choose to see Earth, to learn what it means to live without walls around my heart. I choose love over tradition and whatever future we can build." Kale pulled her into his arms. "You're giving up so much. I'm gaining everything. A life, a choice. And you, that seems fair." Hayes approached, smiling. "The shuttle to Earth leaves in 3 hours. I arranged passage for 2. After 53 years of isolation," Serenia laughed, "I'm very much looking forward to messy and chaotic." 3 months later, on an Earth beach, Serenia stood in the surf, laughing as waves washed over her feet. Her luminescent skin glowed golden in Earth's sunlight. She traded guardian robes for simple human clothing. Though she still moved with grace, Kale watched, marveling at her transformation. The rigidity was gone, replaced by joy. She'd experienced snow, made human friends, started writing a memoir about choosing freedom. "Kale," she called, waving. "Come feel this." He joined her, taking her hand as another wave rolled in. "I was wrong earlier," she said. "I said I was free, but I wasn't completely. Part of me still mourned what I'd lost. But now I understand. I didn't lose anything. I traded a cage for the entire universe. And I'd make that choice 1,000 times." Kale cupped her face. "I love you, Serenia Luthen, former guardian, current explorer of messy humanity. And I love you, Kale Orion, the man brave enough to see a lonely guardian and imagine she could be something more." They kissed as waves crashed around them. Sun painting the sky in colors Viralia never produced. Messy and chaotic and absolutely perfect. Back on Viralia, High Elder Vera held a letter from Serenia. Thank you for teaching me about duty. I'm learning now about happiness. Both have their place. Vera smiled and turned to dozens of similar letters from other guardians asking about reforms. The conversation Serenia started was spreading. Perhaps, she thought, breaking can be another form of building. Serenia and Kale's story became legend, a testament to choosing love over fear, connection over isolation, and the courage to redefine yourself. On quiet nights when Earth's moon rose, Serenia stood on their balcony and remembered the Temple of Falling Stars. The moment she chose to kiss Kale, the instant her life truly began. She had been a guardian, a symbol, bound by vows. Now she was simply Serenia, and that was everything. The end.